Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and I'm going to put this on pause because take a look at this over on the right side. A massive effect is taking place. So this is a giant scythe that comes and sweeps through the battlefield, and we'll take a look at this. Just chops its way through your line, and it just cut a swath through my front ranks. So just as a bit of context for what's going on, this is going to be two dwarven armies combining, one from Clan Angron commanded by Indie Pride with my own dwarf force with Ungrim Ironfist here, who's already been targeted by this spell. Yeah, we're getting hit pretty hard, and that is because we've stirred the anger of the Wood Elves. We are here to chop down the tall tree, the Oak of Ages, to make some nice kindling for our fires. And yeah, the elves are not happy about this. So we are facing off against 3 AI armies. We figured, hey, let's give it a run. And so they are going to have tons of guys just moving forward, multiple tree men, multiple Durthus, all coming at us, multiple tree dragons. The forest awakens. And so we were a little worried at first. So let me put this on slow motion so we can assess what the hell's going on. Well, the first thing that you'll notice is, oh, yes, that's correct. We have a huge dwarven battery set up on the hills. We've cleared all the trees. That's one of the things that got the elves pissed off. But yeah, we have a ton of batteries. One organ gun here, a second cannon that's mine, and then a third cannon, bolt thrower, and another pair of cannons. And this is where we've actually concentrated some of our rangers and whatnot. So we have a nice defensive stronghold here that's pummeling those ranks. And then we have a lot of units in the back, quarrelers, longbeards, a ton of dwarven infantry kind of staggered along the way. And he brought a lot of just melee infantry. I did bring a mix. My goal over here was to lead an expedition into the heart of the enemy's force, plunge forward and deal death with them. I was going to charge forward in column formation, and then you saw that enemy spell get off, so I decided to rethink my plan. But I do have this nice dwarven column poised to go at the heart of the enemy. I am going to have to rethink of this because the fight is coming to us. So what do I have? Well, I have a Thunderer unit here, kind of 2 of them, and they're each backed up by Iron Drakes. And then we have some more Hammerers lining themselves up. And yeah, let's go ahead and press play as the enemy starts to move up into position. And this is so cool. I love to see the elves swarming. And let's go ahead and take a look at where our watch our cannon position over there start to fire down, and it's gonna come and start to bombard all of these forces here. Look at that dwarven hilltop position bristling with cannon fire, unloading on these guys. So we have found a true killing field in this position. And he's already gotten a lot of kills. We're targeting the treekin. This unit's already shattered. So this was something I had kind of been theorizing early on is, yeah, the dwarves are probably going to hard counter the elves. So this is why we're going 2 armies versus 3. We'll see how this plays out. But alrighty, yeah, it would be a foolhardy for the elves to charge forward through here. We have then, you know, multiple ranger units. I do want to see a couple of these as they start to get primed, and they're going to turn about and start firing. Yes, we're on slow motion for the time being, but I want to put this on play here soon because the action is certainly getting underway. The front lines are going to get charged by Wild Riders. Let's put this on play. So this assault was a little bit quicker than I had anticipated, but I do come in with some hammers for support. I'm going to try and pull back with my units. We have some stags right behind us, charging after me, prancing after me, a little bit scared at what's going on in my units. Just barely get behind these miners and then pop some abilities, so we'll see how that goes. So my hammers are going to move forward to try and blunt this charge of the enemy. Tons of archers are going to start firing in, and this is going to be a colossal impact. Another unit hitting my hammers, lots of these eagles getting in, so this is going to be a complete and utter shit show. I'm reforming this column. My drive towards the enemy's heart not going to pull itself together. I'm going to have to reform my gunners and whatnot because we have a lot bearing down on us. On this front, our cannons are starting to get assaulted by a couple of these Eternal Guards, but they're going to get shattered pretty quickly by our reinforcements. And now you can see we're starting to focus fire on the enemy main line. I did want to watch from this perspective because where else you want to be than where the treekin are going to come in. This is pretty scary. Dwarfs, which are already used to looking up at their foes, are this time going to be literally looking up at the trees to see them wash against them. Let's watch on this side as it gets underway. This is freaking crazy. Forest dragons making their way in. We do have a lot of reinforcements in the back, but 2 dragons landing in and amongst us. On this front, the eagles are at the rear, and we'll see how this goes. Oh my god, so much freaking craziness is going to happen. I'm going to put this on slow motion. Unfortunately, it is necessary to understand what the hell is going on. So front ranks are holding. Miners with blasting charges holding back this mess. The grumbling guard committed in all of our front lines, pretty committed down the line. So now it's a question of what do we do to deal with this. Well, a good thing I brought 2 troll hammer torpedo units and a bunch of other gunners. So they are now going to stabilize and reform, and they are going to start to unload on the enemy treekin. The big thing about trees is, well, they're big and they stand up straight in the air, so it's going to be a prime target for me to move up. This is going to be my cue to focus fire. And so you can see us starting to prime and bombs away. So those shots are going to start to land in and amongst these trees. They're doing a lot of freaking damage to us. At the same time, they're starting to tank. These archer units in back have formed a mighty fine cluster that the artillery crew, oh my god, is going to start to target from the distance. Orion here, stomping his feet. But look at all that cannon fire starting to make its way down. These elves desperately trying to find a target, but meanwhile they're getting absolutely bushwhacked by our entire force. Look at how many dead dudes is left behind. Every single volley carving these guys up. My god. Oh my god, that's insane. That's 3 and 1. So on this flank we've beaten the enemy back, and I do want to get an impression of what it's like to be a gunner up here from the dwarven perspective. Freaking crazy stuff as you watch the battlefield, but you have lots of prime targets. The bolt thrower as well getting in. We have a perfect angle to target these units. Our warriors with the fire axes from Dragonfire Pass are going to have a field day with these heavily armored enemy. And then meanwhile on this front, they're continuing to throw in more and more forces, but we've stabilized in the rear with our gunners, and our heavy armor here is just soaking up the enemy volleys. And now it looks like we're going to be able to charge back into the mess, and yes, it is a huge freaking mess. We're charging past these collapsed trees, these tree trunks, and now we're going to get in the mix to reinforce these miners who are down to their last couple units. But take a look at the impact going on over here. Durthu, or a treeman, excuse me, who's in the mix. Ancient treeman, who was holding out so well against our front ranks and our hammers. Now he's going to get focus fire. Ooh, look at this volley coming in. Yes, he gets a little bit protected by these trees, but now it looks like he's going to be routing that last blob coming after him. And so now the forest creatures are going to start to retreat, and boom, we take him out. This is the final scene from Avatar, where the industry is winning out over the native people, the forest creatures. So it's fun for once in a while to play the side of the bad guys, the side of industry, and just take a shit on nature, as it seems here. The assault has been beaten back on this side. No real pressure put on our cannons, who are now going to have free reign on the enemy. Yeah, they're going to be smacking us around with vines, but let's see how we return the favor. So they look a little dainty, don't they? Well, yeah, our dwarves are basically going to answer in kind with huge projectiles. Literally obliterating. Look at that dwarven projectile sticking out of that elf. A couple of those guys say, yeah, this isn't even a fair fight. They're going to start to pull out while more, oh my god, literally cannons take out swaths of these guys, and they're going to have enough. The rear rank's starting to pull out. And at this point, the same is true of almost all of these forces. I start to move forward with my Iron Drake torpedoes, and we've spotted a nice cluster of these elves who have been firing away from their seemingly nice position. And we'll watch here a couple seconds as I start to reload and fire into this blob. Here comes the first couple shots, and bam! Oh my god, more powerful than any arrow here. Gonna be teaching them a lesson. Literally guns making their way to the forest. This is the last scene out of the movie from Avatar. Oh my god, and now they're completely shattering. Let's see the focus fire here on some of these tree kin. I want to see how good is the marksmanship. Oh, that one barely clipped the top of his head. That's going to see them off. Looks like we're going to see another huge tree guy get chopped down. He's on his last two legs. And yeah, he's wavering, exhausted, and now he's going to be completely shattered. Let's go ahead and return to the main line up here. Orion has joined the fight. He is kind of holding strong. Looks like Indy's lines were cut pretty thin at this point. He's only got a couple units left, but chiefly he's got some heroes in here. Look at the amount of death and destruction. A dragon that's died here, another tree man in the back. So this was, you know, a price paid dearly to hold the front ranks. But my side here, the expedition held, I think in large part due to our Iron Drake torpedoes. We're going to be targeting Dwarf. He's trying to make his way through the forest. I knew these trees from when they were acorns. So we got Treebeard making his way through here, literally crying tears. And the dwarves say, fuck that noise. And they're just going to go ahead and kill him. Meanwhile, I have some Iron Drakes also going to be chasing these guys away. Warriors of Dragonfire passing these guys off. And then now we're going to focus fire with our artillery. Mercilessly going to be chopping down these guys. Trying to make firewood out of them. Oh my god. I think they're going to try and get up and start crawling. But no, they're not going to have it. And this tree man is desperately trying to get out of here. Trying to pull back to the Oak of Ages. We'll see how that goes. I think we're going to try and target him with our artillery. And this is, at this point, a complete rout and massacre. Yeah, here he goes. He's making an about face. Slowly plodding his way forward. And yep, you can see a couple shots making their way in. It looks like these Trollhammer torpedoes have found their mark. They're going to turn about, shoot at him. And this noble tree here is going to bite the dust after a full volley gets into him. And boom! Face plants right into the cliff and returns back to nature itself. So a resounding dwarf victory, cleaning up the enemy, and my god, do the dwarves seem to hard counter the elves. Jeez, that was just such a killing field. I mean, look at this. This was literally, I held so many forces back with just miners. All you have to do is hold the elves, pin them down, and let your concentrated artillery batteries basically do this to the enemy. So that was freaking insane. And even this position, yeah, the enemy could hold strong, but look at the bodies of giant creatures. All of that. Even Orion's still here. Still in the mix. Yeah, they paid a dear price, but I think it was a big part of it was due to our nice artillery position. Here I fire in with some artillery, but some brave dwarf warriors were able to kill Orion. So you can see him in the background with the Oak of Ages dying. And now we're going to make this whole forest. We're going to chop it down. We're going to make some firewood. And we're going to use it to light some fires where we can drink our ale back in Karak 8 Peaks. But yeah, I think a large part of this battle was due to our just overwhelming superiority when it came to extreme range and high damage dealing units. This hilltop position was critical to our win. And it was freaking awesome. I mean, we had sight lines on the enemy from the get-go, murdered them, and then as the enemy got tied down, take a look at these sight lines all down the flank. We could pick and choose our targets and just slowly, like clockwork, I mean, just started going down the line, blasting enemy units. That was a freaking awesome battle. I do hope you guys do try out the scenario. I do recommend it. Grab a buddy or just set up the AI and try and do 2 versus 3 dwarfs here on the Oak of Ages map. Really fun stuff, even against the AI. And it is, there's something to be said about seeing cannons and machinery go to town on nature. I know it's not what you're supposed to do. I am, as I've said before, in the renewable energy industry. It's not a philosophy I embrace in real life, but perhaps in a fantasy realm it is a guilty pleasure, I have to say. Just seeing the trees mowed down, oh my god, as a dwarf, super cool stuff. And yeah, that's nice to see these little stunties triumph. So let's end this replay and go ahead and take a look at some of the final stats. Again, this is a little bit bugged in the sense that I can't click on Indy and see his kills, but I think he was telling me that he got 200 and almost 300 on both of his cannons and his artillery, so that was really good. For myself, I had a lot of kills on these Trollhammer, these Iron Drakes with the Trollhammer torpedoes. A lot of supporting fire. Same thing with my Rangers and supporting fire. My mainline troops doing well, and even these miners with blasting charges didn't even get to use their blasting charges. Got charged by cavalry, and they got shreked pretty hard. Ungrim in the mix also. slaughtering tons of dudes. On the other side, the enemy, yeah, they had kind of smaller numbers. So I guess at the end we kind of did outnumber them in terms of troop numbers, but they had 3 armies worth of dudes. Tons of elite forces, giant creatures, monsters, but still that was not enough to break the power of the dwarf. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a fun scenario. Again, it's something I do recommend you can set up against the AI. Having tons of elves charge at you and just firing away with your cannons has a deep sense of satisfaction to it. So I hope you guys did enjoy this replay. Stay tuned for more. We got a lot more battles where these came from. Peace out.